showtime. Woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. Silent and profiling. Woo, it's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, the one that's building the
Kitchen Islands. The Kitchen Islands.
In his house, Mikey.
Yeah, that was quite frustrating today, but hey, it happens. It's the day after Christmas. It's the day after Christmas. So it's what you do. You end up building a bunch of stuff. So,
Yeah, I tend to stay away from it. I have a hard time with building. I don't even read, 'cause I don't know what it is, but I don't read directions when I build stuff. Just give me the stuff. I lay it on the ground and I build it, and it seems right, but there's always 10 bolts still remaining on the ground. And I said, well, it looks good. I'm going to keep it at that.
All right.
Always, bro. Parts. Always extra parts. Bolts.
They usually give you one extra of everything. Just know.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm usually about 10 extra of something, and I'm like, that can't be right. But it is what it is. And then I wonder why it's why is it wobbling? Anyways, Beth, how you doing? I appreciate you coming on. Angry Buffalo sports fan, what's going on, brother? Daniel, appreciate you as always. And then Antonio Miller, I never see him in the chat, but he's always here Meyer, sorry. And way to go, Bills, man. I appreciate you coming on. Anyways, Antonio, he probably watches the recaps. Daniel, yeah, I'm going to get to that right now, which is wild. Yeah.
So he finished the game with another concussion?
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't. Listen, I've been building stuff all day long.
Yeah, it's all right. So I'll get to it because I'm going to get to some news. Scott Blakely with a super chat. Merry Xmas, my guys. Did you love the Finns loss as much as I? Yeah, sorry, but I can't read.
It's not just the Finns. The Patriots melted down. The Jets melted down on Thursday nights. It was a glorious weekend for the AFC.
So I got a funny little stat for you that Mikey, that maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not, whatever. But the month of December, Buffalo Bills are 4-0. Do you know what the rest of the AFC East is?
What? Oh, for?
Just guess.
I'm guessing.
11.
I was gonna say 0-12. They're 1-11.
The one win was the Patriots against the Cardinals when Murray went out.
They did beat them.
And they might have lost that. Who knows if Murray don't get hurt?
Wow.
The way the Patriots.
Remember when everyone thought the East was going to send all the teams to the playoffs?
Yep. Beth, what to again? I'm with you, Tommy. First I'm hearing this. No, so I heard about it earlier, actually from Captain D initially, and I'm like, what? Because I was busy doing my own thing today. But yeah, so they showed the hit. Of course, who knows? But they're thinking this is the hit. So it was late in the first half. Of course, he didn't get pulled. By the way, I just want to let everybody know he never even went out of the game for a play. So it looked like he threw the ball, like he was kind of rolling out or trying to avoid a sack or whatever, threw the ball, and the guy tackled him by his legs. And when he went down, he kind of spun around and then went on his back, and then his head ricocheted. Yeah. But never went out. I actually watched that whole game, which is surprising because I normally watch Red Zone, but since it was a Sunday, there was no Red Zone. There was only a few games, so Red Zone wasn't on. They were on Saturday. So I'm like, why not? I'll watch this game. I thought the Dolphins were going to win just because Green Bay is not very good on offense. And boy, oh boy, talk about a tale of two halves for that team.
Just like us, except
just like us.
As the opposite.
Right. Help me out with the chat in case I'm missing anything.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So yeah, tale of two halves. Miami listen, Green Bay adjusted. Miami had no answers. Once again, Gesicki's not a part of the offense.
That makes no sense to me.
Which is a huge mistake. And their defense, once again, late in the game, melted down. They got tired. It almost seems like to me that defense, Mikey, it's like they give it all they got early on, right? They blitz like crazy. They bring the heat. They have all this energy, and they seem to just fade out late in the game, almost like a boxer, giving it all they got in the early rounds, and they can't hold on at the end, right? When it's close. And it seems like just like last week when who'd they play the week before they played when they drove down the field, same thing, bro. San Francisco, long drive, killed them. Buffalo Bills, long drive, killed them.
Chargers, long drive, killed them.
Chargers, yes, Chargers, long. That's what I meant. Chargers, long drive, killed them. And then the Green Bay, once again, long drive, bro. It wasn't like they started at the 50. They started their own, And
4. Wasn't it like their own 4 and they marched 96 yards?
It was something like that. I forget, but either way, it was a long drive. And it just seemed like Dolphins they couldn't stop him. But I will say this. That was a hell of a play by Phillips, catching him by his that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, it would have.
And still gave the Dolphins an opportunity with 2 minutes left.
Tua looked bad in the second half, man.
He was so bad. I mean, could that be part of the concussion that he was dealing with, that he maybe didn't say anything? And by the way, that just proves to me that, no offense, but he's a liar, that he got a concussion against Buffalo. I know he came out and said that he wasn't a concussion. He's just protecting his team. Come on, let's be real here. And he had a concussion in that game Sunday. Didn't say anything. Probably was not feeling right. Still went out there the second half. And look how he played. Miserable. I mean, really bad decisions. But go ahead with some of these.
But it wasn't even just bad decisions. It was like bad throws. Like he made the right. It wasn't even a bad decision because he made the right decision to throw to Tyreek. He just overthrew him.
Right. Well, that one, but the one at the end.
Oh yeah, the one that he was trying to hit that seam route and the linebacker picked it.
Yeah, I have no idea where he was going there.
And then there was another one where he's throwing the out and the guy undercut him.
Because the linebacker, he read him perfect.
So did Douglas on the out. So the last 2 picks he threw, one was he just sailed it, which happens on Tyreek, and then the other 2, that's the problem with timing routes. If you have a set timing route, Tua is going to throw regardless of if they're open or not.
Yeah,
because it's a timing route.
Yeah, and the running back wasn't even looking on that one.
People are starting to catch on to what they're doing, and they're not making adjustments yet. Scott comes in and says Sam Martin was named Player of the Week by Peter King. Martin should. That guy had a fantastic game in that nasty weather in Chicago.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
oh God, I'd love for them all to miss the playoffs. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful.
How funny how things turned around. Like I said, guys, 4-0 to 1-11.
Do you hear the Dolphins fans anymore? I haven't heard nothing from them for like 4 weeks now.
Nothing. I mean, honestly, I don't really pay attention too much. I mean, I see them on Twitter here and there, but I try to pay no attention to other teams' fan base when they're like trolling or talking. I try not to. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but for the most part, I don't. I keep telling people, man, sometimes you got to be a little humble. It's a long season. You never know. That's why I don't honestly, Mikey, we come on here. We're excited, before the season starts, we'll give our prediction, or we give our prediction week to week. And, maybe people don't like it, if other fan base watches, but I don't think we come on here and just troll or talk trash or you suck. And that's the reason why we're going to win. You're trash. Your quarterback's trash. I don't know. That's not our style. It's not what I do. I don't go on Twitter it's Bills, baby. You guys I'm cool. I'm happy. I don't know. I just don't. It's not my style, man. And sometimes, man, that backfires at you. And I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy. By the way, real quick, I do got to say something. I got so much heat, Mikey, on Twitter.
For what?
I mean, a ton of heat for something that I put during the game. And I was shocked that I got so
What'd you put?
I had to defend myself. So, okay. So,
what'd you do, Tommy?
So, the beginning of the second half, the Buffalo Bills were up 21. Was it 21-10? No, 21-10 at one point. Okay. I think it was.
Yeah.
It might have been 21-13. Either way, it was close. And I think we just turned the ball over. And I think I texted you this too, by the way. And I said, man, the Bills can never just close the game out. Like, we have opportunities to go ahead by, multiple touchdowns, and we always wind up.
That was after the Gabe Davis fumble.
It probably was. Yeah. So, and we always wind up like keep letting teams kind of just stay in the game, even though we're dominating. We did that against, think about it, the Dolphins game. Like, we should have won that. We dominated every aspect of the game, but stupid mistakes. It seems like every game, right? So I said that. I tweeted that. And oh my God, of course, after the game, oh my God, oh, what do you think now? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, what do you want the Bills to win by 40 every game? And I'm like, whoa, like, bro, I had so much backlash. And I said, yo, first of all, if you look at my timeline, I tweet good and bad. I tweet what I like, what I don't like. I'm not just here bashing the Buffalo Bills. It's not my style. But I said, if you go back on my timeline, you'll understand why. And it doesn't matter. That's how I felt. But man, Bills Mafia, sometimes y'all got to relax. Just, I had to be like, yo, do you guys ever read anything I say? You ever go on my channel? I defend the Buffalo Bills all the time by Bills Mafia, who are down and out on the Bills. Mikey, you know that. So
prisoner of the moment. People are prisoner of the moment. So bad.
Holy crap.
And Twitter is like the worst of the prisoner of the moment.
They killed me. Eventually, I just had to stop defending myself. I'm just like, yeah, and I'm not going to take down the tweet. I could have taken down a tweet, but I'm like, then I look like a fake. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I meant what I tweeted at the time. And I still, listen, these are facts. I don't care what anyone says. Up until that game. And by the way, I did tweet out later that the Bills finally, closed out in the fourth quarter, something they haven't really done most of the season.
We haven't done it since Kansas City.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, close it out. Like, make that's it. They're not. So it just seems like even Tennessee, fine, we did that too. You know what I mean? Like, there was no chance. We kept our foot on the, pedal to the metal. We intercepted them at the end. We were just playing at a high level, right? Even defensively, right? We just didn't back down. And I felt like since then, we've kind of let teams creep around, right? Where it made games really more interesting than they should have been. That's not a knock on the Bills. And I know, Mikey, I'm a realist. I get that every game is not going to be blowouts. You're not going to win, by 20 points I get that. But I also understand that sometimes we do dumb shit that keeps teams around in games, and that, come on, that's not knocking the team. That's just realistic.
Yeah, people are prisoner of their moment. They're in their feelings when they're on Twitter. So just know if you're gonna post something like that, you're gonna get that backlash.
It is what it is. But the thing is, I really wish people would honestly just go on someone's timeline and see, hey, this guy, he doesn't just sit there. Because you know what? I hate those kind of people that just bash, like fans that are just always negative, or fans that are always just super positive. Like, I'm in the middle. I'm just going to call it down the line how I see it. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. But I'm also not a Debbie Downer. So, like, I always tell people, bro, read my timeline, come on my channel. You will see I am right down the middle. I think sometimes I'm a little bit more homerish than I am down the middle. I've been called out on that, which I don't believe. But either way, man, I see why people do not go on Twitter a lot. Like, I understand. I really do. You got to be thick-skinned to go on there. You really do.
So there's a good chat going on in the chat right now.
About
a good conversation about Gabe Davis. Callie Bill says he's got to go. I don't know if he has to go. I think I'm more in the line of Scott. He needs a little bit more time. He's not ready to be the number 2. He's inconsistent now.
I got an interesting thing here I want to pull up because this is great timing for this. So I didn't even realize this. I'm going to scroll down. We're going to look at all the stats in a minute.
Okay.
But receiving, I mean, yes, for as bad as Gabe Davis has been this year, not bad, for as off and on, up and down Gabe Davis year, right? He still has pretty much 800 yards receiving. We have 2 games to go. Is he going to get to 1,000? Probably not. But it's damn close. And I've wished for receivers in Buffalo, other than our number one, to even come close to that for many, many years. And I call for Gabe Davis to get 1,000 this year. I'm not going to be that off. And I don't think that's I don't think that's a year where you could totally shit on him.
I'm not going to shit on him, but here's the issue, Tommy.
No, I know you're not.
He has 83 targets and 45 catches. He's catching 50% of the targets. That's not good.
No, and I'm not. That's what I'm saying. That's why I called it up and down year. However, here's the problem, exactly what you're saying, the drops. If this guy can, this is why I'm saying no, you don't get rid of him, because if this guy can come back next season, right, Mikey, he improve his hands, get a better catch percentage, you will see that 800, which by the way will be probably about 900. 950 somewhere, depending on the next 2 games. You will see well over 1,000, in my opinion, and more touchdowns. So that's not. I don't think it's time to give up on Gabe Davis.
Oh, I don't think
just by looking at that stat. You understand? Because my point is, for as many drops as he had, he's still close to 1,000 yards. That's very impressive. He still has 17.7 on average.
He had a 98-yarder, and then he came back with a 60-yarder.
Oh,
See, the thing with Davis is he's either boom or bust right now. He's not. He doesn't seem to sit in between.
Exactly my point. But he's been like that, I would say, since he's been here, kind of. He has not had a year where he's just been boom, right?
Because he was in the number 3, number 4 role. But to be number 2, you have to be more consistent, and that's where we need to continue to grow.
I 100% agree with you. But I think, this is something he'll have to improve on in the offseason. This is something that he will have to work with trainers on. And why couldn't he do it? Like I like the kid, and it's not a first-round pick.
He works hard.
Exactly. And he's not like he's a first-round pick. He's this guy we traded up. We spent all the. That's why I keep telling people, sometimes some of these picks you guys are way too hard on. Way too hard on. You know what I mean? We're talking what was Gabe Davis? 4th round? What round was he? 4th or 5th round? Fourth round, right. And we are sitting here like bashing the guy. Not you, but I'm saying a lot of people are bashing him. And I felt like besides the drops and the inconsistency, he still has had a decent season. Like
he's had a decent season. He just hasn't been as consistent. I think that's what everyone was expecting after last year, the way he ended last season. They were expecting him to have a bigger season. By the way, we have a super chat.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Says, from the Best Bills channel or not, you both are 2 of the best looking men in Buffalo. I don't live in Buffalo, but I appreciate it.
Detroit,
and the smartest. My mom wants to say both of you. I appreciate the super chat.
By the way, real quick, I know this guy. So awesome guy, awesome channel. And I don't know if I talked to you about this guy. I think I have actually, Mikey. And I'm sorry, I'm messing your name up. He called me Mafia Sports Report last night because I watched his channel last night. But he's the guy that started up the channel in the off season. I believe it was right after the Super Bowl. And he does a daily video every day until the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl. Very creative. Some of his videos, I'm like, damn, I wish I was that good at like editing and doing all the magic he does. Because like he did this one where it's like a crystal ball, and he's like, what will the prediction of it? And I'm like, it's so creative. So listen, guys, if you've never been on that dude's channel, go out over there, subscribe. Really good guy, really good channel. And I appreciate it.
Gives you a different take as well, which is what I like,
Yeah, 100%.
Because you can go to different content creators, and everywhere you go, you're gonna need a different take.
Yep.
I go see Joe Marino for one take, for more of a scouting take. You can go watch rumblings and get more of the fan feel. You can go watch Cover Run and get the X's and O's. So where you pop in, go over to Andy Chang, and he's just like on a whole nother level. So depending on where you go, go to this guy, that gives you a different feel. And I like that about our content creator community that we have here in Buffalo. We're lucky. A lot of teams don't have that many to do it. They only hear one or two.
See, I don't agree with that, Eric.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
I'll respect your opinion. It is what it is, but I wouldn't call. First of all, I don't know if I'd call any NFL player trash, but go ahead.
He needs to be more consistent. I think that's our biggest issue with him. He hasn't been as clutch this year as he has been in the previous years either. He's dropped a couple big time opportunities. He does. He has an unorthodox way of catching the ball, and he always has. They're not going to coach him up because it's the way he catches, and he's caught that way all 4 years he's been here. And he's never had a problem with drops until this year.
Yeah, I would say to be patient with him. At least I think he's due another season before you can really start like having a strong opinion on him, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because by the way, I do want to mention something real quick before we move on. Speaking of a player that maybe some fans didn't know about, or they knew and they're like, this guy's garbage. He's done nothing 2 seasons with the Buffalo Bills already. And he's going to be our guest this Friday. That player, Stevie Johnson.
Yeah.
Stevie Johnson, drafted in the 7th round, 2008, did really nothing. 2009, he was hurt, did nothing. And I'm sure I'm sure people probably have their opinion on him. 7th round to get cut. He's a bum from Kentucky. And then he got 3 1,000-yard seasons in a row for the Buffalo Bills in one of our better.
He fit that Chaley offense so good.
Yeah, Gailey. Yep.
Yeah, so that Gailey offense so good.
So there we go, guys. I just wanted to.
Daniel's right. He's had a decent year. We were all expecting our bar for what we were expecting from him was so much higher. Exactly, and you know what? We still have games to go, so we could still see more. That's the best part about it.
Right. It ain't. Listen, the season isn't over. You could totally. The guy could have an awesome playoffs, and you're going to be Davis is the man. So
I'm hoping I'm screaming Davis is the man.
Yeah.
Scott rocks with Best Build channel.
Okay. Awesome. So guys, real quick, as I mentioned, just so you get join us Friday at 8. Stevie Johnson will be on Friday Night Lights with me and Mikey. Don't miss it. It's going to be an awesome interview, an awesome guest to have on, especially going against the Bengals this weekend. You all know what he did against the Bengals in that epic comeback with Fitzpatrick and Stevie and the rest of the boys. And, of course, Why So Serious was introduced to the world in that game. But anyways, so yeah, tune in Friday, guys.
I don't know if I agree with Triggs on this.
No, that's
Hodgins,
not
Hodgins is playing very well in New York. He is.
He also has a different role than DeGay.
Very different role. Very different role.
He's not
Davis. Matter of fact, he's more of what Davis was last year. He's that 3rd or 4th guy.
Exactly. And right now, corners don't know much about him. They're not doubling him. They're not playing him tough.
We shouldn't have let him go.
I'll play that. Well, I get that, but we shouldn't have a lot of guys go. Like, it happens. This is the NFL. You don't remember we talk about this. Some players wind up playing good on other systems. It's just the way it works sometimes, you know? I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does. I mean, I told you to keep. I thought we should have kept the one guy that's in Carolina now over Zach Ma. Yeah. And
he's tearing it up. He had a great weekend.
Right. So. Yeah, no,
but he's been a fantastic kick returner. You know, I think Blackshear could have brought us what Hines is bringing us without having to trade for him. Now, don't get me wrong, we could use Hines. Hines is a better player than Blackshear.
Yeah,
and is more explosive,
more experienced.
I'm waiting to see him really take off because in this game we saw him catch that little swing pass, do that awesome little spin move to get the first down, which was beautiful.
Yeah, huge first down.
It's what he can do for us.
Yep.
Yeah, Trek. I wouldn't be surprised to see OBJ and Davis slide into a 3 spot. I mean, I wouldn't, if not OBJ, it might be somebody else. I can see us going to look 100%. For more weapons this offseason.
There's not a lot of good free agents, though, receivers. I looked over the list. There's the best one, honestly, is maybe Juju as far as age-wise. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, there's nothing to write home about. If you're going to do it, you're going to do
trades.
Yeah, that too. Or you do it you get lucky in the draft and you get somebody in the 3rd round or something. second round. You never know. I mean, if you're really concerned,
Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3rd round pick.
Exactly. So there's players out there. If you're concerned, you really want to go and fill that spot. But I'm not. I don't know if I'm overly concerned like most with the Gabe Davis situation, the receivers. I'm just not.
I think Gabe is good. I think he's, he needs to get a little bit more consistent.
Oh man, people are really.
I think early, he struggled with an injury, which I think consisted to some of his struggles.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just want to see the guy get more consistent, and he will. He works so hard in the offseason. You hear about it from everybody. Josh talks about it. Diggs talks about it. Everyone loves him. I have a feeling he's going to be just fine. We're going to need him big in the playoffs.
I do too. He's, I just think right now it's in his head a little bit too, the drops, which can make you obviously drop some more. You're overthinking it. It happens. It's the NFL.
I was really frustrated with Davis this weekend when he didn't try to come back for that ball that Josh threw. He could have easily got DPI, and he just 100%. Stopped. You 100%. Can't do stuff like that. You gotta go for it.
But you figure these guys though. Yeah, you figure they watch the film. I'm sure the receiver coach. I'm sure Chad Hall's getting on. Exactly, and you don't think guys like Stephon Diggs is telling him, "Hey, man, you got it. You got to fight for."
If I'm only getting 2 targets and you're getting 8 targets, you need to make more with your targets. That's what Stephon's telling him.
Right, exactly, 100%. Make them count.
I love this one. Yes. Tommy, you're finally seeing
love that one?
People are calling for more Cook and Motor together.
Oh, want to see more of he wants to see more of Cook. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you want more Cook than Motor. Okay.
No.
So yes, I agree, and I also said this was probably going to happen later in the season when a month ago you could kind of see the trend going where Dorsey was starting to get the running game going a little bit more. And it happened last season. Now, mind you, it wasn't Dorsey, it was Dable. But you can kind of see Singletary heating up. You could see Cook finding his way. We talked about this multiple weeks now that I think the game is slowing down for Cook. I think he's starting to see the holes better. I think the offensive line has played better the last 2 weeks. I got to give him some credit. Last week was the best game I've seen him play as a whole unit. So yes, if the O-line can give us what they gave us last week or the last 2 weeks.
Don't get me wrong. That D-line wasn't very good.
Oh no, but it doesn't matter. We can go against a worse D-line and our O-line still seems to somehow look even worse, right? Like so I don't go with that. I just go by, hey, did they do their job? I don't care who we went against. And I felt like they did their job. Granted, whatever they rank, I don't care. I want to see something positive from that whole line, right? And I felt like last week was their first, like I said, complete game as a unit. So maybe that gives them some confidence that they can, hey, we can do this, right? They're not thinking it's the Bear. Oh, we do. You know what? It's the Bears D line. We still, trust me. I'm sure they got a little confidence going. The running backs getting a little. Ken Dorsey probably getting a little bit more confidence. That's good to see that the O-line finally stepped up when they needed to, especially in a game like that where it's cold and frigid and you need to run the ball. And we did exactly that, right? It could have been bad. It could have done a terrible job, right? Like they've been doing. And then what? The game might have been different. So you got to give a little credit regardless of who they played, how they've been playing, really. So let's see. But yes, I agree with you. I want to see more of it. Especially, listen, if we do wind up getting that first seed in the AFC and it comes through Buffalo, you're going to need to see that. You definitely want to see that. All right, go ahead.
There's another one that's here from Trek Reviewer. Says, I'm hoping Michael Myers from Notre Dame makes it till we draft, so we can run some Michael 3 tight end stuff next year. Yeah, he's a dude's a monster. Huge dude. He's the tight end from Notre Dame.
Tight end.
Here's the thing. I don't think we'd spend a first-round pick on Michael Myers. I really don't. I don't think we'd spend a first-round pick on another tight end, knowing that we just paid Dawson Knox, knowing that we have O-line issues. And we have some other spots that we need to fill.
Not happening.
Depending on what happens with Poyer, depending on what happens with Edmonds, depending on what the plan is with Oliver, with Mitch Morse on the offensive line. You could always use another weapon, a receiver. So there's a lot of other spots because getting a tight end 2 in the first round is a luxury pick. It's like taking a running back in the first round. You just don't do it.
And I don't see it happening anyways, and I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. One, exactly what Mikey said. We just paid Dawson Knox, and it wasn't like we paid him like, low. We paid him right.
Paid him 14 a year.
He's paid. Okay, that's one. Two, our offense. We're not really a tight end type of offense. We don't really go to our tight ends much. We don't. It's not what we do. If this was New England or something, or somebody that uses 2 tight end sets, I would probably be cool with it. I would say, yeah, because you remember when New England had Gronkowski and they had Hernandez. I mean, obviously, if Hernandez didn't get in trouble, that would have been deadly. And there's other teams that's had good 2 tight end sets, but Buffalo's not. We don't run our offense that way. So I couldn't. I just want to use that pick on a first round. We need, like Mikey said, honestly, there's way different. Offensive line for me, right, as of right now. Now things could change because I don't know how free agency goes. But right now, if I were to pick today, it'd be an offensive lineman, no doubt.
If there's one that's available at the end,
correct. If there's not one that's not graded as a second round, 100%. But if there's one that slipped down, you feel like he's
take
not going
him.
to be there. You got to.
Otherwise, depending on what we do with Edmonds, you might need to go there. Depending on what happens with Poyer, we may need to go there. Depending on what happens, what we're going to do if we pay Edmonds and Poyer, we're not going to have the money for Oliver. We may need to reinvest in that D line to get a rookie in there. So when Oliver goes, so there's a lot of moving pieces still at the end of this year that we can go into, and we'll go into that in the off season. Let's jump over to Eric's question. It says, let's talk about Diggs. Are we hiding them? I sure hope so. I don't think so. And I think I'm more along the line of what Alpha Rob is talking about here. I think this is what Josh has done because we went really Diggs heavy as the other guys were dropping the ball a lot. I think Josh is trying to get the others in the game right now, working back into the offense. And I think that's what's happening. And Diggs has just kind of been the forgotten man. We've also had some really bad weather games recently. Which we haven't thrown the ball as much as we normally do, which limits the amount of targets that go places. So I very much think we will continue still getting the other guys involved, but I think Diggs will be still the alpha guy, and he'll see more than 2 targets a game.
1,000% correct, Mikey. Like, listen, there's no friction between Allen and Diggs. That's ridiculous. Allen's not purposely looking away. Like, it just. Listen, sometimes the flow of the game, the conditions of the game, the whatever the play call might be, it is what it is. But overall, through the season, I mean, once again, if you look at the stats, which I'll pull up one more time here, I mean, Stephon Diggs is heavily involved.
144 targets this year. He just had only 2 last week.
Right. So, guys,
and really, it's the last 2 games that he wasn't a target as much, and that really had to do with the weather and the game plan.
That's why I said sometimes, guys, like in general, right? And I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but sometimes you guys gotta sometimes take a step back, look at everything, go ahead and look at like right here, like I said, look at the stats, look at what's gone on during the season, injuries, all that crap, like whatever we're talking about. And that's why I told you guys sometimes, like, we're all guilty of it, but we get a little bit ahead of ourselves, and it's like one game is like the end of the world, or like a couple games, right? Like, oh my God, like it's over. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen hate each other. Allen hates going to Diggs now.
Allen in his presser brought it up before anybody could even bring it up to him. He's like, I need to get 14 the ball more. I need to talk to Dorsey on how we scheme things up to get him open.
But I will say this too, though. I don't want to see him also pressing it.
Yeah.
Because that's when things make mistakes. Then, because I've seen that before. Matter of fact, I know I have. I've seen Allen try to force the ball to Diggs a few times in past seasons, and sometimes a little bit too much. And it's caused interceptions or just close to interception. Like, Play it smart.
It's got him
get him involved.
His rhythm too at times when he's trying to force it.
Right. Don't just I have to get him the ball. I have to you got to continue to listen. It's all about winning. And at the end of the day, Diggs is a team guy. He understands this. If we're winning, he said it himself, I think a season ago. He doesn't care about the stats, right? He wants to win, right? Whatever happens. But if we're losing and you're not throwing the ball, of course he's going to say, yo, and I understand that part, but we're not losing. So no matter what, in games, when we're down or something like that, if they pan over to him, of course they're going to catch him. I'm sure upset, but I'm sure they're going to pan over to other teams.
He was upset because the offense wasn't moving, and Josh was coming off of him too quickly. That's all it was. And they talked about it. And matter of fact, right after people who were saying that last week, you saw him and Diggs together at a game outside of work. So
listen, there's nothing there, but sometimes people, like I said, sometimes people overreact. That is nothing to, trust me, guys, nothing to worry about.
Diggs is going to be a big part of our offense, and especially moving in. Truck Reviewer said, would you guys trade down the pick to gain more picks? Yes. If somebody is not there, that's worth that pick. Absolutely. You trade down.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm with Mikey. So it depends where you're picking. Obviously, if we win a Super Bowl, we're picking last.
We're going to pick him last.
Right. So, which is basically a second round pick.
Will be the 31st pick rather than the 32nd pick this year because the Dolphins lost their pick.
Right, exactly. So either way, though, it's pretty much all. It's a second round pick, right? So Mikey's right. Depends who's on the board. And if you really, truly believe you won't be there when our second pick comes around, then fine, you take him. Other than that, if somebody really is willing to give up something crazy or whatever to get to that 31st spot, then of course you take it.
Maybe you trade out of, round 31 to drop to like 2 or 3 or 4 the next round. And pick up like a 3rd or a 4th round pick, then you absolutely do it.
Absolutely. And we've done that in the past. So I have no problem doing it. I'm with, like I said, it depends how the board goes. So I'm not on the board. I don't see the board. So I have no idea who's on their board right now.
Yeah. Hernandez was one of those guys. Triggs, you're right. Hernandez was one of those guys.
He was unbelievable.
He was
play for the Gators.
Him and Gronk. I truly believe he could have been. He would have been more of the receiving threat because Gronk was different. Yeah. But those two together, he was so talented. He was so good.
He just had issues. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know who wasn't terrible either?
Bring back Vernon Butler.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I heard who wasn't a bad tight end either, but obviously had issues. Now he wasn't as good as Hernandez or anything. But Winslow from Miami, his dad was
Winslow.
Yeah. So he actually had okay season, but he had issues. He had major issues, and this is dating back since college.
Yeah,
that he had issues. So clearly he's in prison. So I mean, but he's another
demons,
guy
man. Guys grow up with. I mean, people have demons all the time. Everybody has them.
They do. It's wild. It's wild. Real quick, Mikey, I do want to ask. So, Bills win. Our winning streak 6 in a row right now.
Yep.
What has changed from that time where we lost 2 games in a row and now we've on the streak of 6? What do you feel has changed the most to get us back on track where we're at today?
Red zone efficiency.
Red zone efficiency.
Yeah.
Okay.
During those games, because when we lost those games, we didn't lose bad. We made stupid mistakes in the red zone and didn't score.
Yep.
We threw bad interceptions.
Yep.
When we lose by 1 score, the red zone efficiency, because we were really good this week too. We were 4 out of 5 in the red zone. At the end of the day, that does it. That's the difference. That's between winning and losing. Scoring touchdown versus kicking field goals is the difference between winning and losing in this league.
Yeah, I'll say combination of a few things. One, red zone, no doubt about it. And that includes kind of the turnover because we were turning the ball over in a red zone a lot for some odd reason. And then I will say the running game. Because the running game was not there for most of the season, and especially during those games that we were losing. Minnesota is a prime example where if we ran the ball, we probably killed the clock. I know we killed the clock. We killed the clock there. Minnesota's not coming back. There's not enough time in the clock. We just were just stuck on our ways, and that's how we've been, right? The last 5 seasons, like with our offense. And I think we finally come to realize, I'm hoping, that you got to run the ball some, and you got to run the ball late in games, especially late in games, right? That's when defenses get tired. That's when you can start milking the clock. That's making these long 8-minute drives, man, right? And just give the team no chance. And we've never really done that, Mikey. We've always just got the ball, pass, and you put like 1 minute off the time. Like, that's it, punt. And, so it's like, I felt like Dorsey switching it up here this past, I want to say almost a month, with getting the running game going. The time of possession, I mean, I haven't really gone back and looked, but I would like to. It's been up there. Our time of possession, either we've won it or it's been even. I mean, we have not really lost a time of possession in a long time. So I'm loving what I'm seeing with that. So those 3 things are the main thing. But yeah, I would say the number one thing I go to, I agree with you on the red zone, but slash turnovers in the red zone.
Yeah.
Like that was a killer.
The red zone efficiency kind of covers that. But I think you're right to put the emphasis on the turnover piece of it, because that's why we didn't score.
Right. Nothing.
Because we not even a few zeros.
Right.
Yeah, because we were turning the ball over down there. But yeah, that red zone efficiency is probably the biggest key. I like 100%. This question. What 4 players are going to be key down the stretch? 2 on offense, 2 on defense. And before we go to that, Scott Blakely comes in and says Diggs and Beasley, Poyer and Rousseau, taking Allen out of that question.
Okay.
I love this. And I personally,
question. Yeah.
On offense, I think it's going to be Saffold and Bates is going to be the difference on offense. Because if we can continue the running game, it makes our offense almost unstoppable. Because then it opens up that actual play action for Josh. And then they won't be able to continue to run that cover 2 shell, because we're going to run the ball all over them if they do. And then that's going to give Diggs and Davis and all those guys those free ones. Yeah. But I think it comes down to those 2 guys, whether it's Bates at center or Bates at guard, and then Saffold. The interior O-line is going to be the key on offense. On defense, I think it's going to be Rousseau, and I think it's going to be Epinesa. I know what I get out of Shaq. I'm kind of lost faith in Basham, because he really hasn't done much this year. I'm gonna hold out hope he can continue to grow. But Epinesa has 6.5 sacks or 6.5 sacks. Quiet 6.5 sacks. We need to see more of him, and he's starting to bat balls down. He's coming on towards the end of this year. I need to see him continue growing, and I need Groot to be the leader of that defense, those DNs.
I like it. I do. I like that you mentioned Saffold too, because he's had I don't think he's had a bad season, but he's had
up and down season, inconsistent,
he's
like Davis.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Inconsistent is a very good word, because I don't think it's terrible. I just think he's had his moments, but he's also had terrible moments. Man,
I like this one.
I want to kind of piggyback off you on that one. So I am going to go with Saffold as well as one of them on offense, because he has to, especially in the run game, and he's primarily a run blocker, better than a pass blocker. So definitely need him if you want to continue this running attack that we've been doing. And then the other guy, I want to say Gabe Davis, man. He's still our number 2. We really need him to play better. Obviously, you guys know right now, it's still kind of a struggle for Allen to find receivers open. And when he does, they're not catching the ball. They're dropping the ball. Way too many drop passes. And that's just not Gabe Davis, guys. We lead the league in drop percentage. That's everybody. That's Dawson Knox.
That's Diggs.
Davis. That's that. Even Diggs is right. Even Diggs has dropped some. Now, not as much as Gabe Davis, not as much as Dawson Knox, not as much as Isaiah McKenzie, but he still dropped some. So I really need Gabe Davis to get his act together, show us signs, show us that Gabe Davis we saw earlier in the season on some of these games against Pittsburgh, Tennessee, show us that, the Gabe Davis of the Kansas City last year. We need that Gabe Davis back because teams are going to start like doubling up Stephon, paying attention. We need him to make plays. And Allen, you don't want Allen to start looking at different options in the play because he doesn't trust Davis to catch the ball. Like, then we got a problem. So I that's on offense and defense. Okay. I'm going to go with Ed Oliver because I think Ed Oliver is such a disruptor. He really is.
He was so important this last game.
Oh, 100%.
He creates for others. That's the thing. He may not get the sack or he may not get the tackle, but he's creating and forcing guys out where others are going to be able to
forcing them to get out of the pocket.
Yep.
And then I guess my second one will be Trey White. Trey White's now back. He's our number one. You all know he's not 100%, but he's working to get back to at least 85 because I don't think he's going to be 100 this year. But I need to see him improve a little bit more, and I think he will. I think week after week, getting into the playoffs, you're going to see a better Trey, and I can already see that. Last week, I thought he played really good. He almost had an interception. Should have. Now, mind you, that was an easy interception if you had it. But either way, I thought he played very well. Now, mind you, it was not a very good receiving core, but it's still good to see him out there making plays, making tackles. And I need him to start getting a little bit more, that a little bit more consistency. Getting maybe mental block he has
back.
That Trey. Yeah, I need that Trey back where he's the happy Trey, the Trey that's out in the field making plays, not overthinking the knee, because I kind of still feel like, in a way, mentally it's there. You know what I mean? And mentally he's getting down on himself when maybe he can't get where he wants to be because of
I thought he was better this week than he was
I did too. Yeah, especially you got to remember in the snow, bad to run, hard to. The ground is like a rock.
Not only that, but it's also who he was playing. He was going up against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle last week.
Yeah, the fastest receivers in the game.
Everyone's gonna have that.
I see it I see it week after week. Clearly, Hill is going to probably get 2,000 yards receiving. Mm-hmm. Like, clearly, he's burning a ton of top DBs in this league. It's not just our guys.
Yeah, and I love Daniel Gary's comes in with his Knox and Bates. Knox is going to be a big key. Him getting more involved recently, I think, is also one of the reasons we've turned around. I really do. Yep. And then Milano and Oliver. Milano, we can ill afford to lose any of those guys.
Yeah, love Milano, man.
Scott comes in and says Trey won't play elite until next year, but I think he's still
exactly.
He is
100%.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Although I appreciate this Best Bills channel, no need. Hit that like. You really want to help support us? Hit that like button. That's the easiest way to help support our channel. Although we appreciate it.
Yep. By the way, real quick, I did miss some NFL news. I just wanted to run that by you because we didn't really get to the Tua thing. So I'm gonna jump back. I'm gonna actually not jump. I'm gonna go backwards.
The chat came in with some great topics. I just wanted to jump into them.
I like it because tonight, listen, guys, our Monday show isn't like because we do a post game show every Bills game, so it's kind of tough for us to do another post-game show the day after. It's like what we just talked about. It's like a rewind session. So these Monday shows, we want it to be more chat related, whatever the hell you guys want. It's more of a free, just kind of just open talk session here. So it's not really nothing planned. It's just, a few things jotted down.
What comes out of the chat. And our chat always gives us so much to talk about.
Exactly.
So really, we're here for you guys.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Go ahead,
100%.
Tommy.
So that's right. So NFL news today. So the first thing I guess we could dive into, which we were kind of starting to in the beginning, and then we got a little off track, was the Tua concussion. So this will be Tua's second, though it's really his third of the season. I don't care what anyone says. What are you thinking, Mikey? Now there's a lot of talk, by the way. There's a lot of talk about players saying he should retire. Shady McCoy came out today. I forget what channel he was on, some of the ESPN or something like that.
He's on Speak. with
So maybe it was
Acho and God, what's her name? It's the Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She shifted over. Yeah. So I think it was there. It could have been. Anyways, he said he thinks he should retire. Now, I am not that guy. I'm not going to tell anyone what they should do. I mean, listen, Mitch Morse is on like number 7 or something with us. So, but I will say this: Tua has been hurt throughout his whole football career. I'm talking about since high school. We're talking number 3, but who knows how many concussions he's really had. That's 1 throughout his whole career. I'm talking about high school and college, right? And then not even talking about his other injuries. There's a problem there, and it kind of seems like Miami doesn't care, right? Regardless of what happens to this guy, right? So Tua's either going to have to talk about this with the family and discuss what he wants to do, or maybe it just doesn't bother him and he's going to continue. But the problem is with that, and that's why I kind of feel for like Mitch Morse, is like there is a life after football, bro. And concussions, a lot of these guys, man, they go down these bad paths, man, because they're not right. And it's like, dude, you're super young still. And if you're getting broken down already this early in your career, you really got to consider it, man. And I know it sucks. It does. Because come on, man. You're an athlete, right? You're really good. I mean, listen, he's good. I'm not going to knock this guy. He's a good player. But it's hard to step away. It goes for boxers too. A lot of, you see it, right? Boxers in the ring, they're getting toasted, right? Face is all like messed up, right? Their corner, they're never going to stop. They're never going to go. It's the corner that has to wave the towel, right? Or the ref. Well, this is the NFL. NFL ain't going to tell Tua to quit, right? It's not their job. And the coaches and the ownership's not going to go, hey, Tua, you know what, man, you're going to have to step away. Like, they're not going to do that. It's up to the player ultimately.
It's his doctors.
Yeah. Well, even them, they could say, hey, we recommend this. Doesn't mean he has to do it.
No. But if you go back to the Mitch Morse has been cleared by doctors. They've had conversations about it. They've seen the brain scans, and he was fine.
Yeah,
that's why he came back.
It.
So it really comes down. It really comes down to what does him and his doctors, not the team doctors, his personal doctors, feel. As they're looking at this. I like what Trick says here. Look, is it really a concussion, or the Dolphins just using that as a front so it doesn't look like Tua's getting benched for poor performance?
That's not the case. I don't think so. I think
he probably got beat up a little bit. It's probably a little bit of both. I think they're doing right by him to put him in the protocol because he probably had some symptoms after the game.
Yeah.
I don't think the concussion's the reason why he played poorly, because he's played poorly more than just this one game.
Exactly.
But I think they're after what happened to him and they didn't put him out. I think anytime he comes in with a headache, they put him in the protocol.
I think the NFL came down on that team so bad that they're not even risking anything, right?
Nope.
So
let him clear the protocol.
I don't think it has anything. I'll be honest. It has nothing to do with his play. I'm not saying his play has been good. It hasn't. It's been pretty bad, especially late in games. But you're telling me the Dolphins are going to like bench him for like, come on, like that. The last 2 guys. Listen, I like Bridgewater, but he's not better than Tua. He's not going to give him anything better than what
we've seen. Bridgewater already. He wasn't good.
He was average at best, right? He's a backup,
and he wasn't even by
exactly when he started.
Jets. They got smoked by the Jets, like 40-something to 3.
And then the other guy who came in obviously got
Skylar Thompson, the rookie. He's rookie,
right? So there's no way that's a benching or this isn't a Zach Wilson thing. Which, by the way, I'm going to dive into right now because Mike White is back and Zach Wilson goes back to the bench. Back to the bench for Zach Wilson, Mikey. No surprise, right? No surprise there. Listen, they're still in the hunt. They ain't riding with no Zach Wilson. So, yeah, Zach Wilson. I mean, the writing's getting to be on the wall, right? I mean, what do you think? Writing on the wall here for Zach?
Zach Wilson's done. Mike White's back. I think they will keep him through the offseason. We'll see if he has any kind of trade value. If he doesn't, you'll see him as a reserve because he's still a cheap contract. but you'll see probably a veteran come in. I don't think they're going to go back to the draft and try to draft a young quarterback. I think you'll see a Jimmy G or someone like that come into New York to be the one while they figure out what to do with the rest of it. There was 2 questions in here that I want to get to. One,
go for it.
Truck Reviewer comes in and says, since Matt Araiza was not charged, could you see the Bills give him another chance? No. I don't think the Bills will. I do think he gets another chance because he's still dealing with the civil side.
Yeah, right.
Not with the Bills. But also, I think Sam Martin gets re-signed, and he's been fantastic.
You got it. You got to re-sign Sam Martin. He's been better than expected. Put it that way.
Yeah.
When we signed him, I knew he was a good kicker, like a good punter, and plus he came from Denver, like tough place to punt with altitude or whatever. But he was solid there. But I knew he was kind of getting up there in age, not old or anything.
He's in the early 30s.
Yeah, but I just figured, he's a good replacement. We'll see what happens next season. But bro, he's been so consistent. The holding has been no problem. The punts have been very good. Like he's done nothing that warrants me to go.
Great.
And he's a punter. How much can that contract be? I mean, like they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd actually try to figure it out now. I'll be real with you because it's probably such a low end contract. You could figure that out, like just to get it over with. Because
not only that, but he has such a good rapport with Bass and Ferguson. Like that group has such a good rapport.
Yeah, 100%.
But Matt Araiza still has to finish his legal stuff because although he wasn't charged criminally, he's still going through a civil one.
Yeah, I don't.
So you probably won't see him till that's done. Would be my guess.
That may not. That's so. I'll tell you what I could see happening. Since we're on that topic, real quick, I don't know if he comes back to the NFL right away. I think he gets. This is what I think happens. I think he winds up going to like one of these different organizations, like USFL or XFL for one season, right? While this thing's playing out still in civil, because I think somebody will willing to give him a chance in the lower league. It won't be such a big story, you know what I mean? I don't think they will really care that much. And then as it goes on, and he proves himself in that league, because remember he's not really proven in the he had one game, or I think where he punted right in the preseason. Like he didn't do much, right? So it's not even like he's like this. For sure, great punt. Right. So maybe like, at least for me, I think if I'm his agent, I'm like, yo, let's just get you on the field. Like this XFL team wants or USFL, let's get you out there, get you some reps, like get you going, right? Because he hasn't played in a while, I'm sure. And then teams will see this and then they'll be willing to take a chance. All that shit will be behind you. That's how I can see it going for him, in my opinion.
I can see that. But I think he's going to have to get the before he gets another shot in the NFL, I think he's going to have to get through the civil.
Well, that's what I mean. But maybe while he's doing that, I think an XFL team or USFL will be willing to sign him while he's going through that. Because why not, right? And then at least you got some money coming through.
That's pretty. Like even the in the civil case, that's pretty serious charges brought against
it is,
him.
but I can still see a team like XFL.
Yeah.
XFL has nothing to do with the NFL.
Yeah,
I could definitely. You're telling me there's not players there that have.
I don't know if the XFL will do it because I know The Rock. And his wife is running it, or his ex-wife, his business partner.
Yeah, we'll see. That's true. We'll see.
Do it. I don't know if they will take that shot unless they feel comfortable with whatever's going on illegally. However, there was a question. It says, "Why is Josh not playing like Josh?" And then Scott Blakely came in with a super chat to answer it. Appreciate you, Scott. Josh being Josh, no one realizes the elbow pain is significant. Man just gets shot, pain shot before every game. Most QBs are sitting. So
Robo Josh.
Honestly, I agree with Scott. I think it's more about the elbow than it is just Josh. Now, the bad decisions are just bad decisions.
That's right. That has nothing to do
with it. He got fooled. Like last week, he got fooled on one with the rotation.
Right.
It happens to everybody.
That's right.
The second one, Josh said he dropped his elbow and it sailed on him and the wind took it. Things like, playing in bad conditions, that happens because Josh owns his interceptions. And so when he said that, I tend to believe him.
And I will say this too. You could bet your ass Josh is being like Josh because that dude is still running over people. he's still not. It's not like Josh is like, gotta watch this elbow. I am just sliding. I am going to take the sack. I'm not going to run as much. Like, he's still doing Josh things. Now the mistakes, listen, no quarterback, none, zero are perfect. They all make mistakes. Every quarterback, Patrick Mahomes is first.
It's some of
everyone who bows down to back, he makes mistakes, right? He has like 11 or 12 interceptions. He makes mistakes. Clearly, he makes
Burrow
mistakes.
threw 2 last weekend.
Right. Tom Brady, the great Hall of Famer, GOAT, whatever you want to call him. He makes mistakes, believe it or not. So no one is perfect. That's one. 2, he is dealing with a bad injury that happens to be his throwing arm. It's not like it's his left arm and it's, it has nothing to do with it. Like this is his throwing arm. Clearly you could see on some of his throws it's affecting him. He probably had to change it up a little bit, how his throwing motion goes, just so he is not in so much pain. But he's still at a high rate, in my opinion, which
he's still over.
Back to,
I think he's 63.
Since we're on that.
Go up.
So let's just go to passing, for instance.
63.4.
So yeah. So
4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, 13 picks.
With 2 games left, I mean, he's going to be very close to 4,500, if maybe more, depending on how these last 2
probably
games go.
Probably be around 36 to 38 touchdowns.
Guys, that's
hopefully he doesn't have any more interceptions, but if he does, I would say no more than 15.
Yeah,
not including the 850, 900 yards he'll have rushing.
Yeah, which we go to right now.
We go down.
By the way, we're going to get to the other guy.
So he'll probably have around between 800 and 850 yards, probably between.
Oh, no, he's going to have more than 800. He's going to have at least, 2 games left. He's been averaging 35 a game, 40 a game.
Yeah.
So I would say he's going to get almost 850.
Close to 850.
Close to 850.
Probably between 8 and 10 touchdowns there. So altogether, he's going to have over 5,000 yards. He's going to have over 40 touchdowns.
Right.
That's a great season.
That's still Josh being Josh. Trust me. That right there, the running, right, tells you everything you need to know if Josh is still being Josh. Listen, I don't think some of the best quarterbacks in their career has what he had rushing in their whole career. This is one season,
and this
is very impressive.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Allen's playing bad. Some of the off the mark throws has to do with it. Yes, Josh said his elbow is feeling a lot better a few days ago.
Yeah,
he also said that it's something he's gonna have to deal with the rest of the season.
Right, and also too, guys. So look at these stats, and let's just count. Let's just say we're the number 1 team in drop percentage. What do you think if we were, let's say, 15, the middle of the pack in drop percentage?
You
that 4,000.
You add about 16 more completions to that, and probably about 200 more yards. I would say on just.
Depends.
It could be more than that. I'm just saying.
Right.
Just give him 200 more yards, and he'd be sitting closer to 67% completion
touchdowns,
closer to 4,500 yards. Yeah.
Right. And by the way, some of these interceptions were not all his fault.
Yep.
If you really want to be picky and technical, James Cook whiffed on one where he went the wrong way.
Mackenzie gifted one to somebody in and out of his hands.
So guys, it's not all. That's what I always tell you about. Sometimes you got to really look back, look at everything at a whole, see what he's done, really go back and look at the games, because it's not all him, man. I think he's had a very, very good season. Has it been like, oh my God, great? No, but it's been damn freaking good, man.
No, and I agree with you. It's not serious. It's just something he has to deal with. You'll see random times that you just see him a little bit off. The throw's a little bit high, and it's usually when he drops his elbow, and that has to do with the nerve that's in his arm that kind of throws off those little layups, as they like to call them. But Josh is great. He's fine. He's having a fantastic season.
You can't listen. I would say 20. what would you say? 29 more teams would take Josh Allen right now? 28, 29?
I'd say probably 29.
So,
maybe 28. Because I don't, obviously Kansas City would keep Mahomes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the top of my head. Right, Herbert, Mahomes, and what was the other one we just said? Burrow. Right, Burrow. I mean, other than that, I mean, guys.
And I'm not even saying that they wouldn't rather have Allen over Herbert. Right now, they would prefer the contract of Herbert over Allen's, but other than that,
that's right. That's right. Real quick, too, other news, just a heads up. I mean, nothing to do with us, but Hackett got fired. Didn't even make it one season for the Broncos. I mean, honestly, the GM should be fired.
I think this guy's missing the point.
What happened here? Who? This guy? Josh Allen is
I think he's missing the point. We're not saying Josh Allen is having a bad season. We're not saying Josh Allen's so injured he can't do things. So I think you missed the point. Anyways, there was a question that was in the chat that asked why Josh isn't being Josh. There's certain things that went into it, but
right, yeah. So
either way,
so no, I highly doubt he's. So to reply to that, I don't think. Yeah, no one said I didn't mention surgery, at all. I don't know. Oh, maybe he's talking to somebody in the chat though. I haven't read some. So maybe it's going back and forth. But either way, I didn't bring it up. So if someone bring it up, that's fine. But if he. Who knows? Listen, he could, but I don't know. I'm not him. I have no idea what's going on with his elbow.
I don't know.
But either way, our point was Josh Allen has had a good season, and I don't think anyone, I mean, unless you're out your damn mind, no offense, would say he's having a bad one. I think Josh Allen, for everything he's gone through this season with the elbow injury, with the injuries that are on this offense too, with the offensive line not playing too well, especially early in the season, with receivers, like I said, dropping the ball. I think he's had a very good season. So, yeah, no, I disagree there. I got it. So on that earlier take, and not by you, Josh Allen is the next Elway.
Yeah, I don't think Josh is. I think Josh is being Josh. He's just, he's had bad games, but he's had bad games in previous seasons when he was fully healthy.
100%. Every quarterback has. Every quarterback has.
At the end of the day, if he's gonna be Superman and put those capes on, sometimes he's gonna fail. You know who failed the most? Michael Jordan.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, it took him a while to beat my bad boys, the Detroit Pistons. He had to get over that hump. Finally did. Chicago went on to be a very good team, one of the best. But you're right, 100%. Listen, you're gonna make mistakes here and there. Like I said, no quarterback's perfect, man. But everything that dude does on the field, you have to show him so much love because it's all heart, man.
Yeah, Josh Allen is the next Elway is absolutely correct here. Last year against the Falcons, he threw 3 picks. He had a bad game. But when those primetime lights come on, you get a different Josh Allen.
Oh, always. 100%. And he'll do everything. Let me tell you something. That's why I love this guy so much, Josh Allen. That dude will do everything and anything to win a football game. It doesn't matter. He will put his whole goddamn life on the line, it seems. I'm being honest. I know it sounds crazy. That dude really, honestly, he does everything for this team and his teammates. And you could, by the way, too, after losses, he always, and that's the difference between him and Zach Wilson, he puts it on him. Like he has a lot of weight on his shoulders, man. And he takes it, right? He takes the good with the bad. He'll sit up there and he'll tell you he had a bad game, right? He'll tell you, even if we won, he'll still say, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I'm not throwing to Diggs a lot. I need to get Diggs more. Like, he didn't need to say that, but he does because he's a leader, right?
He also is the biggest critic of his play
himself. That's right. 100%, man. So he'll run through a wall for his teammates. He'll run through a wall for his coaching staff. And you got to respect that. And that's why I love Josh Allen so much, because it's not just his gifted ability with his arm and his legs, he'll run. It's his heart, his desire, his just being a good person, a good teammate, everything. We have the total package when it comes to a quarterback.
We're lucky
with Josh Allen. Right, 100%. Because, like I said, there's been very good quarterbacks that come in this league that have arm talent, that have everything you would want, except for maybe the heart, the desire, being a good teammate, being good off the field, right? Doing the right thing.
Being great in the community.
Right. So 100%, Mikey. So we are very lucky to have a guy like Josh Allen play for our team. So I just want to say that. So that's my closing thing for the Josh Allen.
Yep. And then the last thing I got is from Josh Allen's the next end. It says it's why Vegas big hitters aren't betting against Buffalo. Josh Allen is respected, and that goes into the article that came out today. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen were the athletes of the year, or the football players of the year, or whatever. That just came out in SI. They're co. It tells you the respect that his peers, the coaches, and the media outside of Nick Wright have for him.
Right. Yep. 100%. I do want to dive into our stats real quick too. Just one more thing. Here's another guy, and I know obviously everybody knows I love this guy, Devin Singletary. So I predicted 1,000 yards this season. He's not going to get it. However, I don't think so, because I think James Cook, they're using him more, Mikey. If James Cook wasn't being used as much, I would say he would probably, right? But there's only 2 games to go, and I just can't see him getting 100 yards each game. He just finally cracked 100 for the season. It's been a while. However, I could definitely see him getting close to it, like 930, something like that. That's still very, very good for a guy that was not used a lot, only 170 attempts. It's not all guys.
4.6.
There's running backs with
an average 4.6.
Right. 4.6 average. Like I said, right here tells a story. There's guys that are running now that have 250 attempts, 300. This dude's sitting at 170. 4.6 average on the year. That's really good. 5 touchdowns, and most of those came late. He's only had 2 fumbles. That's not a lot. You got to give him some love, man. And
he just lost both of them. That's the crappy part. It seems like when we fumble, unless it's Josh Allen, it just like it always goes to the other team.
And Mikey, this.
Yeah. So he already cracked that 1,000 yards total offense.
That's right. So I think we got to show him a little bit more love than we do too. Just because, like I said, once again, we don't look at sometimes all the stats, everything he does.
I mean, love this year.
I think Bills Mafia is starting to come around now and understand, Mikey. I think it took a while, but I think you know what it was? I think once we traded Zach Moss, I think fans started coming around. Hey man, I would defend that dude. There's certain players I
think there's scar tissue there still for Tommy, because the last couple of years he's been kind of crapped on. We've always been trying to replace him.
Yeah.
And Tommy's been Tommy still feels like he has to defend him, and he doesn't. Singletary has been wonderful for this team.
Yeah, but
I would like to see him come back. I'd like to see the mixture of him and Cook more in the future.
Yeah. I think Mafia's starting to come around with him now. You know what I mean? Understand his true value. I just think it took a while. And I think yeah. Oh man, I love it too.
I love it.
So anyways, I do want to get on the sacks here. You talked about Epinesa.
Yep. DJ Stone in the house.
Hey, I invited Stone. He couldn't get to. He was doing I don't know, something with his car or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, AJ Epinesa, Mikey. You talked about him earlier when the question was asked about the 2 players down the stretch. 6.5 sacks. That's not bad. I mean, he's on pace. He could get easily 8 sacks, right? Depending on these next 2 games. It's not a bad season at all for a guy that I was a little bit down on. I think you were too earlier in the season.
I was. He's come on.
Yep.
And I said that in my thing. In the last few weeks, you've really seen him take off. Since Vaughn went down, I think Epinesa has played better.
Yeah.
We need to continue to see him take that step. I think Shaq Lawson's a big piece of that. Shaq should start on the opposite and then bring Epinesa in, because he's a better pass rusher than Lawson. Lawson's a better all-around DN.
I mean, it shows you right there.
Yeah.
Now Lawson's better at tackling. He does a little bit better
setting the edge. He's a better run defender.
Is exactly better run defender. But I will say, man, this hurts a lot, Von Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 sacks, and look, he's been gone for
games.
quite a bit. Right. I mean, he was on pace for quite a bit there. He probably could have got what? What do you think, Mike? He would have finished with? I would say
think
at
he
least
would have 13,
right?
I think he would finish with 13.
Yeah, which would have been a really good season.
I think Rousseau has a chance to hit 10 still.
I do believe so too. I do, because I think he can get 2 at least on one of these games in a sack. So in his last game. So why not? He can definitely get 3. So 10 would be that's a really good second season for Gregory Rousseau. That's very promising heading into going into next season too. You know what I mean? He's only getting better. Ed Oliver, once again, another guy that's had a really good tackling season so far. 33. I mean, solo 19. That's really good. As far as interceptions go, we're not a high rate interception. Jordan Poyer's been at 4 for a minute. Milano at 4. Elam with 2. Dane Jackson 2. I would say the disappointing one here, I would say to me, it's probably Tehran. I want these numbers to go up a little bit as far as interceptions. I wish he would get, but we're just not.
I would say my disappointing one is actually Dane Jackson, because he's been in position to make more.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't made the play on the ball.
You're right. I agree with you. Well, Dane Jackson's been a disappointment regardless.
I see.
Right?
And I don't think he's been that big of a disappointment. He's been solid. The issues that I have with Dane is he's in position. He just doesn't make the play. He doesn't get his head around fast enough.
Yeah.
If he learns to get his head around, he's always in position. Very rarely does he get beat so bad.
I'll give you that.
He just
doesn't make a play on the ball. Right.
Muscled for the ball. He doesn't make the play.
That's correct. He gets out muscled and he tends to get beat more than the other guys.
And we appreciate you stopping in, DJ. You could come on anytime, brother.
You good, brother. But yeah, man. Overall, though, listen, 12-3, Mikey. It's been what a ride so far this season, huh? From
12-3.
It's unbelievable.
For as bad as you would think, with everything that's happened, the Bills are 12-3. We win the next 2 games, we get the 1 seed. For everything that's happened.
Right.
Just remember, we've played this entire season without an all-pro safety in Micah Hyde.
Pretty much. Yeah.
We lost him early game 2.
Week 2, yeah. Listen, man. If I were to tell you, Mikey, I keep telling you all this, if I were to tell you early on, if I had this I could just somehow see what was going to happen in the future, psychic ability, and say, all right, man, we're going to lose Von Miller at some point. Josh Allen's going to get really banged up on his elbows, so it's not going to be 100%, but he's going to have to. Jordan Poyer is going to be missing a lot of games. All these other injuries. We're not going to play at home for a couple games. Blah 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 blah. Just keeps going on, right? Would you think we'd be 12-3?
No, but if you remember when we started this, we did the preseason predictions. I had us at 13-4. Was it? Yeah, 13-4.
God, I still like my prediction at 17-0, but
yeah,
I'll tell you what,
13-4. But however, I think I believe we're going to end up 15-2.
I do too. Mikey. Why not? Listen, I'm not. We're going to talk Friday. Yeah,
or 14-3. 14-3, not 15-2.
Yeah, 14-3.
14-3.
14-3.
I don't know how to do math.
That's okay. Somebody said that about you.
I know.
Week.
Yeah, I know.
So, listen, I will say this. Obviously, I didn't think we were going to go 17-0. I said we would, as just being whatever. But I will also say this.
We thought we had a chance in every game, and we did.
I thought that exactly my point.
Yeah.
When we did the schedule breakdown and we gave our predictions, there was not one game in there that I said the Buffalo Bills can't. There's no way we're not. We're going to be every game was a winnable game, and to my point, we've lost 3 games combined by 8 points.
And I didn't have us losing any of those 3 games in my prediction.
Right? And it's not like you're right. It's not like any of these games that we lost. We got we got blown out. Most of those games we were leading at some point.
We've lost 3 games by 8 points.
That's what I mean. Right. So, and most of the game we were ahead or we were winning by the Dolphin game. Perfect example. Won on every category. Right. Except we didn't close the show. Right. Too many mistakes, clock management. Right. before the half, end of the game, stupid turnovers. Then you got the Minnesota game, which
fumble in the end zone. We hadn't won.
Then we still had a chance. And
then he threw the
Jets game, we just shit the bed somehow. Like, so my point is, every game we had an opportunity. And realistically, man, who knows like where we could be right now if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. But either way, we did. But we're here and we're 12-3. We won the AFC East already, by the way, by a lot. Right? Like, it wound up not even being close, right? I mean, by a lot.
Like, we locked it up ourselves on Saturday, but we didn't have to. It could have been locked up by the Dolphins losing.
Yes. So, like, and look at all these teams that have flopped. That, like I said earlier in the season, the Denvers who fired their coach today, right? The Raiders who just have been the Raiders, right? And they have talent, but they can't put it together. So many teams. Look at the Titans, right? Just falling apart. The Ravens, not that good, right? There's the Dolphins, everyone was like, oh, the Dolphins, to MVP, right?
December
the Jets
rolled around. We called it with the Dolphins. We called it with the Dolphins, though. We said, wait until this, like, they are a high-flying team. We said, wait until
Why? I don't see, okay, guys, I have to ask in the chat. I hear Mikey fine. Mikey sounds perfect for me.
He says it doesn't sound like that anymore. He says it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't sound like it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't understand what that was, Mikey. What do you think that was?
I don't know. I noticed that since I've opened my because I have Logitech camera. Since I opened that up, I don't tend to go blurry anymore, and things seem to come in clear.
Oh,
once I've opened it up.
Yeah, the focus.
Yep.
Weird, man. I don't know. I kind of dig you on AM though. If that was, hey guy, I can't even do it like an AM. Yeah, but I'm sure it sounded like cool,
Quagmire.
Yeah. Oh golly, man. But anyways, Mikey, my whole point was, we're here 12-3. We got 2 games to go to wrap it up to finally get that AFC #1 spot locked down in the AFC. I really truly believe we can do it. I do believe we're the better team than Cincinnati. We're going to dive into that on Friday with Stevie Johnson coming on as guest. We're going to, he's going to give his takes on the game coming up. So it's going to be a really interesting show Friday, guys. Definitely be there. And tomorrow, Tuesday night, 8:30 is our wrestling podcast, which is Nuclear Heat Wave Wrestling Podcast. That's at 8:30. And then Wednesday, Rally Towel Sports, which they are Bengals fans, Browns, and Pittsburgh. They are going to be covering the game. And guess who's going to be on there? Mr. Mikey at 8:30. He's coming on as a guest to represent the Buffalo Bills. So y'all in the chat, y'all better represent and go
come on in.
Mafia Sport, my channel, for that podcast, and show some love to Rally Towel Sports, because they really are good. And they're going to be having Mikey on, and they're fair. Listen, these guys are as fair as you can get. They're awesome guys. They're not like, they're kind of like Sports Dynasty. They're realists, and they're just awesome dudes to have on the channel.
It's fun. It's gonna be a fun time, because they have a pod very much like us, to where it's a bunch of guys just talking about sports. And I'm excited to hear, what they think about the Bills outside. And then I'll give them what I think about the, Bengals outside, and what we're both expecting from this game. Because this is a playoff game. This is a heavyweight fight. The Bengals are one of the elite teams in the AFC. It's going to be fun.
Yep. And Mike is going to be there. And I'm going to try, I was supposed to have, forgot that I was supposed to have one of them on Friday. So maybe I still could squeeze them on. I'll see what I do Friday, because now Stevie's coming on, so I'm not sure. But either way, Mikey will be on their show on Wednesday. And then Friday, obviously, you guys know, Stevie Johnson will be coming on our podcast at 8 o'clock, Friday Night Lights. And then Saturday is our final Fantasy Kingdom show for you fantasy football nerds out there. And AFC East Shakedown obviously will be on as well. So
it hasn't come out yet. DJ Stone, he asked about the injury list. It hasn't come out
yet.
We won't see anything until Wednesday.
As a matter of fact,
Monday.
I don't. Yeah,
Thursday. We might not even see something until Thursday, because we play Monday.
It's so bad right now in Buffalo that I read somewhere where
they're keeping the highways closed and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, they can't. Right, so the media can't get to Buffalo to do their weekly interview until they're saying Thursday. So I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. They may have to do it like what is it?
Zoom.
Through the Zoom. Yeah. So but I think Wednesday, or Thursday, I think Wednesday probably the injury.
It might be Thursday because of a Monday game. They they move on the Saturday games, they move it up to Tuesday.
You're right. I forgot.
On Monday games, I think they do.
Yeah.
I think we'll see it Thursday, Friday, Saturday is the reports.
Yep. You're right. One more thing too, Cole Beasley, Mikey.
Yes.
You think we see a little bit more of him Monday night?
I hope so.
I thought we were going to see a little bit more against the Bears, and we really didn't. It was kind of like one play.
I only saw him that one.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope we see him more.
I do too, because I truly believe, Mikey.
I think he could have a big factor in a game like this.
In the play, yeah, I think he's going to play a big factor in the playoffs.
Me too,
in my opinion. But you got to start getting him going, and you got 2 games left in the regular season, right?
Yeah, you can only call him up one more time.
Yeah, so if you plan on it, if that's what they plan, right? If that's what McDermott and Dorsey plan to do is use Beasley in the playoffs, you got to start getting him involved these next 2 games because you want to get him back on track with Allen, right? I know they already have a chemistry down, but they haven't played together for a little bit, right? It's still kind of a different spin on the system than Dable's. So you kind of want him out there. You know what I mean? Making some plays, getting comfortable with Josh again. And you can't just keep limiting him to one play, or a couple series.
He's out there. Josh just hasn't
thrown
the ball.
Exactly. Yeah. But you got to maybe call some more. My point is maybe some more plays for him. Maybe they haven't really ran. Now, there was one in the last game that was specifically for Beasley, which was that out. Yeah. But there hasn't been, I don't think, any really plays called for him.
I disagree with you there.
You think so?
I watched the Kurt Warner thing where he broke down Josh Allen's game, and he had Beasley on 3 different plays.
And he didn't go
open, and he didn't go to him.
Okay, but then that,
and he talked about the layup. Yeah.
And maybe that goes back to my point of Josh and him building that chemistry again. Because I told you how
Josh was taking the deep shots.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think Josh sometimes too, comfortability makes a big. Know that.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. I'm just saying. I've seen that with him, where certain players, it takes him a little bit to really get down. Now,
I think he hasn't wanted to throw those underneath routes. He's been wanting to throw the mid routes.
Yeah, I agree. But he needs he needs
to get back to throwing those short, quick games.
You got to give. Listen, he has to understand. You got to take what the defense is giving you. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to do that.
We both know that, but to this point, it hasn't happened.
But either way, I still want to see him more involved. Either way, it doesn't matter if it's on Josh or not. Then Josh needs to get Beasley more involved.
Diggs only saw 2 passes last week, so it's not just Beasley that.
No, I didn't say that. I just
I'm just saying.
I just feel like you could run a little bit more.
I think we need to scheme things for him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Got to scheme things a little bit more for Beasley to kind of these next 2 games to get him going. Especially like I said, if you're going to use them for the play. If you're not, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah. So anything else, Mikey?
No. The chat was on fire tonight. We appreciate you guys.
Oh, dude, the chat kept going, bro.
The chat dominated the first, 45 minutes of this show.
I really had nothing. I really had nothing, honestly.
Yes, Stone. I think I agree. I think the holding calls have been really bad this year.
Yeah, that's a story of the offensive line, though. Listen, that's been a story of this offensive line for the last 3 seasons. Yeah, it's been that way. This is nothing new.
Like killers, the drive killers.
Yeah, what they are. All the time. Saffold's been doing it as of late. Which Dawkins gotten a little better the last 2 games. I want to say, I haven't really heard his name called.
It's Dawkins, Saffold, and Brown are usually the culprits. Very rarely is it Bates or Morris. Very
exactly. Very rare. Yeah. It whenever I hear holding, it's going to Brown, Dawkins, or Saffold. Yeah. And it used to not even be Saffold. Saffold's
or Tommy Sweeney. Or Tommy Sweeney, who's been inactive since that because Josh did that big touchdown to Diggs. Since that's happened, Sweeney hasn't played.
He is. I much prefer Quentin Morris over Sweeney. And he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I like
he ain't helping. If you ain't helping, and you're putting us back.
If your biggest impact on the game is to wipe off a 60-yard touchdown pass,
right,
you're not going to see the field, brother.
Right, you're right. Oh man, but anyways, any more questions before?
No, I think we're good. We appreciate everyone in the chat riding with us. This went about 90 minutes,
hour and a half.
So it was nice to get back into the swing of things, Tommy, on a Monday night. We appreciate you guys riding with us, and we'll be back. Come catch me on Wednesday, and then we'll be back on Friday.
Wednesday. Don't forget, guys. I'll tweet it out. Anyways, guys, Bills Mafia, love you. Go Bills, number one. Peace out. Go Bills. Peace. Thanks, Joe.